All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome into another episode of Baseball and Coffee with Adam Ottavino. Make sure the mic's working. Yep, looks like it's working. Today is July 11th, Friday, July 11th. And we got a few topics that we want to get into today. We're going to see what's brewing around MLB from last night. Today's coffee, I'm going with the triple espresso in my Mets mug. My coffee beans are still Chocolate Bomb by Sacred Grounds Coffee in Sherman, Connecticut. And I think what we should do is we should get started the same way every day, and that is by checking the standings. It was a fun night of baseball last night. There was some good stuff that kind of got some really tight games in the late innings that I think we're going to get into. But here we go. Toronto with a 2-game lead on the Yankees. The Yankees had a nice comeback. They've now won 4 in a row. They're breathing down Toronto's neck, but Toronto is 9-1 on their last 10, and they're going to go to Sacramento now. So we're going to see if they can extend the lead heading into the break. There's only one series left before the break, so that's a big deal to kind of finish strong and hit the break feeling good so you can really enjoy it. Interestingly, Tampa 4.5 back, but Boston, folks, Boston 5 back. They're 9-1 in their last 10. They've won 7. Can they keep it going? I'd be curious to see what the chat thinks about that. Can the Red Sox keep it going? In the Central, Detroit, 13-game lead on the Royals. Plenty of breathing room there. Houston, 7 over Seattle, who just had a disastrous series in New York. Getting swept. Phillies, 1.5 over the Mets. That's going to be tight the whole way through. Mets had a tough day yesterday. Cubbies 2 over the Brewers, 5.5 over the Cardinals. That's tight. The Brewers have been playing really well. Cubbies have that plus 124 run differential, so that indicates that they are actually the best team in baseball at the moment. We'll take that with a grain of salt, but yes, they are up 2 games in the NL Central and NL West. Dodgers lead has shrunk to 5 as they've lost 6 in a row. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can get back on track, starting to get some of their pieces back. I do think that's going to be interesting. And they really need to finish this first half strong so they can go into the break with a good feeling. I think that's important. I always wanted to. I never wanted to go in the break feeling bad. So first thing we're going to do, though, is we're going to get into our first topic, which is the Yankees versus Andres Munoz last night. I don't know if you guys were watching this game. I certainly was. This was a phenomenal game. Garrett Holman, the Rockies series really helped Boston get going. I agree totally. But now they're starting to play better, so we're going to see. But anyway, let's stay focused here really quick on the Yankees versus Andres Munoz. So this was a crazy game. Brian Wu was absolutely shoving for the Yankees. I believe he gives up his first hit of the game, the Jazz here, to lead off the 8th.
Here where, pitch count is even more.
Yeah, Jazz squeaks it through the middle, and that's the first hit. Yankees end up getting 3 in that inning after a single by Belly and then a 3-run homer by Stanton off the bench, off Matt Brash. This is a crazy at-bat. We should actually watch this at-bat really quick. This guy's gross. Basically 99 up in sinker. Now, slider at 3,100 RPM, negative 18. But the trick is here, this pitch is 87.5. Like, nobody makes the ball break as much at this speed as Brash. This is why I think he's been hurt a lot. But it's also, this is just absurd spin. So he gets ahead. Actually, he doesn't get ahead. He falls behind here after missing with this sinker. Kind of pulled Johnson up and away. And then Big G does what Big G does. I think we forget that this guy is 400 home runs deep in the big leagues. But so he gets him within 3. That sets up a little bit of ninth inning drama. I'm going to cut right to it. Andres Munoz comes in the game. This guy's been phenomenal. If we want to go look at his Savant page really quickly, it's kind of crazy. Where do I go? I got him right here. As you can see, it's all red. He's going to the All-Star game. Even after last night's tough outing, he only goes to a 1.54 ERA in the season and a .91 whip. And that's with, you'll see what happened in this outing. It's kind of a disaster, but he's gross. He's impossible to hit. And when you're facing a guy like this, sometimes you need a little extra help. And that's what the Yankees were able to get because they had something on Mr. Munoz. But they needed a man on second to get there. So let's not sleep on the importance of Grisham getting on as the leadoff hitter here. With a little base hit to right.
The 3-2.
Line drive, it is a base hit for
And then Belly was able to single.
14.
Also on a base hit. On a fastball. Sneaks it through the hole there. I mean, that ball's a foot to the left. And this is a game-ending double play. Instead, it's a hit, and now the Yankees are absolutely in business because they had something on this guy. They knew when he was throwing his slider, and I'm going to show you what I mean a little bit. We're going to go to the center field cam, but I want you to key in on Grisham. So he doesn't do anything on this first slider, but we're going to key in on Trent down here. So the first two sliders, he doesn't do anything, but he starts to get rolling here. See, arms move. Let's watch the replay on this. Watch Trent down here. Arms move, slider, ball. Arms move, slider, and Jazz just misses it. So when he does the little circle move with the arms, that means the slider's coming. Jazz gets out anyway, but watch this at bat from Rice, and let's watch him. Well, arms move on the slider. Really nice cut by Ben. Another slider. This time he didn't have it. And therefore, Munoz is able to drop that slider in. Fastball, arms stay down. Take it, slider, arms move. Good take by Rice. Change up, nothing. So it looks like really they just had the slider. So Munoz is clearly tipping his slider. And basically when it's a fastball or change up, they're keeping their arms down. 3-2, slider, arms move. And Rice is able to take it. Now, I should mention that, Andres did not do a very good job of, executing in this game anyway. And Cal Raleigh said after the game that he was aware that the Yankees had something on him. I mean, it was pretty obvious with the arm waving. I mean, this is a pretty obvious move by Trent right here. Yeah, I mean, that's about as obvious as it gets that they have something. And it looks like they're getting it maybe from the first base coach or from the dugout somewhere because all of their their line of vision is this way, or maybe it's into the glove. But they're getting something either right out of the way he's coming set, or somebody in the dugout or first base coach is relaying something that they're seeing from behind. But that's how they're getting it. So Rice ends up walking. Crowd's starting to get into it. Ends up with bases loaded, and then now Bellinger's on second for this Wells at bat, and he's locked in the same way. So first pitch fastball, arms stay down, easy take. Second pitch slider. He saw it, but it was a little late, so he didn't give it. Third pitch slider. Here comes the arms. It's a take, but as you can see, Belly's on it. There's a take. Here comes a fastball. Arms are going to stay down. Wells takes a big rip at it, knowing it's a heater. It's a little too high for him. Change up. Arms stay down. It's a really good take. Really good take, considering you don't know if this is a fastball or a changeup. So you got to give Wells credit here. This isn't all Yankees tipping, but it gets to that point. And then on the 3-2, arms stay down on the fastball. Wells can kind of lock in on it. Line drive to right. That ends up tying this game up. So you can't give 100% credit to the tipping, because that's not always the answer. But when you have a guy this nasty on the mound, you got to have something on him, or it's going to be really, really tricky short of him just walking the house. And in this case, they knew his slider was coming. They were able to fight off some tough pitches and kind of extend this game and get it to the ninth. I mean, get it to extra innings where they were eventually able to pull it out off of a really nasty outing by Devin Williams. I just want to highlight this one pitch that Dev throws to Randy for the strike three on the airbender. This pitch is negative 8.4 vert, which is kind of off of a chart. Like, you would never see a negative 8.4 vert on a changeup unless the guy threw like kind of a submarine. But this pitch is gross. I just want to show it real quick. Man. All right, who we got in the chat here? He's peeking into the glove, but I'm surprised how late they're giving it. Yeah, I mean, it's tricky. This is tough. And, a lot of times teams will have a tip on a guy, but the reality is that it's really hard to execute it. Like, just because you have it, you still got to relay it to the batter. You got to get it with confidence. You got to get it there early enough where the hitter feels like he can trust it. And one, you make one mistake where you basically say your guy's throwing a slider and here comes a fastball, and they'll never trust you again. So the whole jig is up. But in this case, the Yankees do a good job. They're not shy about it. They know they're not going to face Munoz again. in this series. And honestly, even if they didn't have anything, the way that they're kind of waving the hands and being distracting out there, Raleigh obviously sees it, and probably Munoz sees it. And even if they don't have anything, I think it's still jarring for the pitcher, because now you're thinking, what am I doing? And you kind of lose a little bit of your focus. And that's a little bit of what Cal Raleigh said, was that he saw it, but he didn't want to break up the rhythm of Munoz. He's been dominating all year. He felt like he could get him out even with them knowing what was coming. But yeah, Yankees were a little brash here, for lack of a better term, and they got bold and they got it done. It really helped those guys with those at-bats. I thought that was a huge, huge factor in them coming back. And really, it's going to take a lot to come back off of a guy like Andres Munoz. He's been incredible. But they grinded him down. They took good at-bats, and a lot of it was lack of execution, but a lot of it was also they knew it was coming, so they had a little better chance to get that done. One thing that shocked me when I got to the Yankees, I had been with Colorado for 7 seasons, and we really didn't have much on any pitchers. Charlie Blackmon was somebody who was pretty good at doing tipping, and he would share his information, but we didn't have like a department that was all set up, to catch people tipping. When I got to the Yankees, I realized how in the dark we were, because the Yankees had something on almost everyone, and they were really good at implementing it and executing it. Always looking for an edge, always looking for anything. And that really was a wake-up call to me that maybe I need to clean up what I'm doing. Like, I can't be getting beat because they know what's coming. If I get beat fair and square, I can live with that, but you never want to get beat because you're tipping. I always felt like that's something that's in your control, and you should be able to clean that up. And I can even think back to my Cardinal days, because this has been going on a long time. This is not a technology thing. This is a baseball thing, always looking for an edge. Going back to my Cardinals days, we go to big league camp. There'd be a group that would be throwing bullpens, and there'd be another group that was just watching them intently, looking for tips. Are they puffing their glove extra wide on their changeup? Are they wiggling a different way? Are there a different amount of taps? Is their finger pointing up? Usually it's stuff with the glove hand, or maybe something you do with your breathing, or with which direction you're looking. Like, there's things that you slip into a pitcher that you don't even realize that you're doing. But I think ultimately you don't want to get caught in this way. And I know for a fact that the Yankees have some hitters that are excellent at, kind of converting the tip into real results. A lot of times I've played with guys that even if we had something on the pitcher, they didn't want to know. They wanted to stay kind of in their state of see the ball, hit the ball, and that was the best way they thought they could compete. But I think every little edge matters, and in this case you can really see how it made a big difference. On the 3-2 pitch, Wells is able to kind of key in on fastball. Arms never come up, and he's able to beat a 98-mile-an-hour fastball to the spot. If he has any indecision there, he might be a little late on this ball, pop it up or something. But it's really good execution by the Yanks, and you got to give them a lot of credit. And I think we're going to get on to our second topic, unless we have something in the chat. Yeah, agreed. More distracting for the battery than helping the hitter with the timing of it. Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. There. All right, so for my second topic, let's check the notes here. Yeah, I want to get into this Red Sox game a little bit. First, Marcelo Meyer came through with probably the biggest hit that he's had so far. Just wanted to take a quick peek at his Savant page. He hasn't done much at the plate yet. He's hit the ball hard. His bat speed's there, so the tools are there. But he hasn't done much yet. Been hitting too many grounders. And, first time through the league, you're going to get diced up a little bit by these pitchers. However, he's been above average on fielding. They've been moving him around. Alex has shown a lot of faith in this kid. And I just want to show the at-bat that he has yesterday, because it's pretty clean. Red Sox Rays. Of poor Baker. I mean, this guy gets traded from the Orioles after probably his worst outing was of his major league career, but definitely of the season, when he gets clipped for 4 runs versus the Mets the other day. Immediately gets traded to the Rays, plays the Red Sox, and his first outing goes walk, double, single. So he's kind of thinking, like, where did my lucky rabbit's foot go? But anyway, here's the at-bat. Marcelo Meyer, 2 guys on in a big spot. Baker has a nice changeup. Drops it in there first pitch. He's looking undoubtedly for a rollover here. Get a double play or at least one quick out. Pulls the changeup in. It's going to triple up on the changeup. Marcelo lays off. Finally buys himself the fastball. Stays tight. inside out laser beam swing into the left center gap. That's going to tie this game up. Red Sox would end up scoring another run to take the lead here. It's a 109-mile-an-hour line drive on a fastball in after 3 changeups. If you try to pull this ball, you're probably beat. You're probably not beating it to the spot, but he does a good job of kind of staying short, staying tight, lasering it in the gap. And I just want to give a shout out to Chaim Bloom. I know he got a lot of flack in Boston, and he's been run out of town for a while, but he's the one who drafted Marcelo. That was the year I was there in 21. I think it was the 4th overall pick. That looks like a good pick. Roman Anthony, Christian Campbell, a lot of the young guys that are contributing to this Red Sox renaissance. Obviously, Campbell's in AAA, but Roman and Marcelo in particular are doing a really good job. Ooh, I got to share the screen. That's a good point. How did I stay on this? That's a big mistake by me. I am sorry about that. Let's watch the double again then. He gets 3 changeups. That's why we're live, and that's why we have a chat. Thanks, Mitch. All right, so he gets 3 changeups here before lining the single the other way. Changeup middle.
Couple of shots down the right field line.
Changeup pulled in.
Story on at second, Gonzalez on at first.
Changeup up. And then a 97-mile-an-hour fastball middle in. Stays through it nice. Big swing. Red Sox needed that right there. Now I can go back to the chat. Sorry about that. Okay, but my point is that's set up. They ended up taking the lead, and that sets up the Cuban Missile to come in the game. So Aroldis Chapman, everybody knows who that is. Guy's had an incredible career. He's already had almost 23 WAR for his career with a career 2.56. He's got over 1,300 punch-outs, which is the all-time record for a left-handed reliever, passing Billy Wagner, I think, earlier this year or maybe even last year. But the crazy thing is that Chappie is now 37, almost 38 years old. And it did look like he was starting to slow down. His last 2 years with the Yankees didn't go very well. I thought in Pittsburgh he was throwing harder than ever last year, but it was kind of an up-and-down season, a lot of walks. Now he comes to Boston, and this is probably the best he's ever pitched in a first half. 3-2 with a 1.22 ERA, 16 saves. He's got 55 punchies and 37 innings, and the crazy thing for him is only the 10 walks. If you go over to his walk category, for his whole career, he's been up and down with the walks. The years he has low walks, he's basically untouchable. The years he has some walks, you can be got to a little bit. But this year, 2.4 walks per 9. His career is 4.6, so walking 2 less batters per 9 innings than he has in the other years. And it's pretty incredible to have this type of season at 37. He was awarded with the All-Star team. But I want to take a look at his outing from last night. We could check his StatCast stats real quick. They're all red. He's unbelievable. Averaging 99.1 on the heater at 37 is insane. But I want to take a look at the video because this guy's 37 years old. And I think he's gotten tangibly better here at the very end of his career. Chandler Simpson, just starts it off slow. Like, just get me over 97, 95, gets a little pop-up. And that was a huge out because that's like the fastest man in the league, and I think he would have been tough to keep on in a one-run game. He does end up facing another speedy guy in Mangum, who ends up slapping a hit here on a 98-mile-an-hour pitch. Little jam Johnson, little floater into center. And now here's area number 1 where I think Aroldis has gotten a lot better. And you can see his body language. He likes to have like a little bit of a smile like, okay, we're in the fight now. He's been through this. He's been pitching high leverage for decades now. All right, so area number 1 that he's improved in is holding runners. I don't think he ever cared. But now if you watch how quick he is with the runner on first, he's got good pickoff moves. At times he goes to the slide step. There's the slide step, a little quicker move there from Chappie. And that's going to anchor Mangum at first and allow Chappie to just kind of go to work. And it's crazy, even on a day where he doesn't have his top-notch velocity, where he's throwing 101, 102, he's still able to be absolutely filthy, sitting 97 with this splitter. Which is really nasty. Falls off the table. Ew, Danny Jansen had no shot. And it's funny that the splitter's become a bigger part of his game this year because I can remember when he was working on this pitch with the Yankees when we were teammates. His catch partner used to be Luis Sessa, and they would play catch every day. And I remember Chappie would rip the splitter, and Sessa would kind of bail out of the way. He would kind of dive out of the way. He wanted no part of that. And I remember one time saying, you know what, let me get in there. I want to see what that looks like. So I got back there with my glove. Chappie threw me 3 splits in a row. I kind of held my private parts, looked away, ended up catching all 3, but they all had 3 different movements. And I just remember thinking, man, if you can throw that ball over the plate at all, that pitch over the plate at all, nobody's going to hit that. You got to look for the fastball off him, and you got no shot. And here's his final batter of the game. Still working that slide step, which is pretty good for Chappie. He used to be a little tantalizing the runner with a little slow leg hang there. So in this game, he's only 97, 98. He's been up to 103 this year, I believe, which is crazy for a 37-year-old. And we're going to look at his delivery in a second. But this is easy 97 from the Missile. And then he's going to finish it with just a diabolical splitter that dives down and in. And you got no shot. And he finishes it his classic way with the stare. He just steals your soul. He just takes your aura. Not afraid to use that physicality to intimidate. And believe me, it's intimidated a lot of hitters over the years. But let's take a look at the delivery from the side. Because, quite frankly, there's never been anybody quite like this guy. He's huge. He's whippy. Came off the island in Cuba throwing 100 when he was real thin. Now he's a workout warrior, but he's maintained his mobility, his flexibility, and his intent. And it's actually really, really, really impressive to watch. And yeah, Garrett Holman says each outing he appears to ramp up in velo with the first batter sitting mid-90s. By batter 3, he's touching 103. I think that's true. I think he learned that there's no point in coming out guns blazing every single outing. He can kind of ease into his outings a little bit. And, then as he needs it, he can ramp into that elite velocity. But let's get into the delivery a little bit. It's really picture perfect, but you have to have such freakish athleticism to pull it off. He gets a little coil as he drifts forward. He gets a lot of depth with that back leg, a lot more than most guys. You can see he's pretty deep here with this knee, and the front leg is kicked out and kind of into free fall, and then he gets everything kind of ready to kind of torque around. This glove side gets real high, and that's going to quickly get forced into like a swooping spiral down. There's a huge stretch across the chest here. So he's got massive hip-shoulder separation, and his body just unwinds like a rubber band from there. And to be able to still do this at 37 is tough. Believe me, I tried. At 36, I was still throwing hard, but by the time I hit 37, it was like just a little tricky to get the body to still do the same things over and over again. You try to train him, but a lot of it is probably genetic. And this guy's got great genes, but also incredible work ethic, especially the last few years. I was really impressed with him in spring training this year. Showing up at 7 a.m. and he's already got a full sweat in the gym, lifting heavy. Being a mentor to the young guys, all the things that he probably got criticized for at times in his career, maybe being a little bit of a loner, doing his own thing. Those days are long gone. All the Latino guys certainly look up to him. All the pitchers look up to him. He's an all-time great, and certainly in today's style of pitching, throw hard, be nasty. He's kind of not early, but he's one of the guys that really revolutionized the game by showing us what's possible. You can throw a ball 103, 104. And I just wanted to highlight that he's having his best year in a very long time. He's headed to Atlanta, and he's been really fun to watch this year. So I just wanted to highlight that. All right, let's get into the chat a little bit here. Players get better with age, my wife says. I felt like I got better. I got better with age in a lot of ways, but physically, sometimes it goes back the other way. Hi, Adam. When will we be on MLB? So I'm going to be streaming on the MLB YouTube channel most of the Fridays, but we didn't feel like we were ready yet for today. As you can see, I just got a few new logos and spruced up the joint a little bit here on Baseball and Coffee. So we're going to try maybe next Friday, even though there's no games, I believe, that day. There might be one game. I think that's coming out of the break. So it's going to be 1 or 2 Fridays from now. You'll catch me over on the MLB channel, YouTube channel. I look forward to connecting with all the people over there. Certainly they have a ton of subscribers, and we can get more and more people involved in this chat. All right. Speaking of hard throwers, I wanted to check in really quickly. Let me just check the notes here. I wanted to check in really quickly on Mason Miller, who threw the hardest pitch of the season last night. It was Oakland, well, not Oakland anymore, Sacramento and the Braves. So let's check in on the new Aroldis Chapman, in a way, Mr. Mason Miller, and we're going to watch this pitch as 104.1. I mean, the jump from 90 to 95 is huge. Like, you can feel that. Like, if you catch a ball at 95 versus 90, that's a huge jump. And then 100 from 95 is also another huge jump. So to think to go even 4 or 5 miles an hour above that really gives the hitter zero reaction time. We're going to take a look at Miller's delivery from the side for sure. But I'm curious in the chat, what do you think the limit is? What do you think the human limit is? I think somebody will throw a ball 106, 107. I'm not sure much harder than that. I also don't think anybody can really stay healthy doing this. But let's take a nice look at Mason from the side. Now, first thing to note is he's a brick shithouse. This guy's big, strong, does it all in terms of physicality. Another guy with not a huge stride, and I think that sets him up to throw really hard. It hurts his extension numbers like we talked about with Schlittler yesterday. So it's not a huge stride, but really good timing. When that lead foot lands, his arm's just starting to get up, and that's going to create like an early hip, like it's going to go hip, torso, shoulder, hand. There's going to be a nice spiral of energy up the chain here. So he lands, the hips are already open, and then it's hips, chest, shoulder, hand. And it comes out really, really hot. Just watch it from third base. First base. He's got another guy with an elite lead leg block, which I feel like you have to have if you're going to throw 100, honestly. Watch the front knee. It's violent how hard this knee locks through. Almost hyperextends. You can also see in his face here, there's a little bit of a velo grunt, which Max Scherzer always said, if you're going to grunt, you better be throwing 95. Well, he's 9 miles an hour above that, so he's feel free to yell. He can yell, he can braveheart, he can do whatever he needs out there. But I don't know, in the chat, anybody think we can throw 110, 108, 107? Let's see, I'm going to write something. Is 108 possible? I don't know. 105 plus is attainable, but not sustainable at this current time. What do you think we need, Garrett? You think we're gonna need like bionic body parts to make it sustainable? I don't think it's sustainable either. I mean, Ben Joyce already on the shelf. Mason Miller, he's gonna have to fight for dear life to get to arbitration and to free agency in one piece. Which for me, that's the only thing I'd be thinking about is just how do I stay in one piece so I can keep doing this and make it to where I'm making money in this game and can get to a team that's a contender. Sometimes it's a little bit of a curse to be this good, this young. I think of like Noah Syndergaard, who was electric when he first came up. It's hard to maintain it though. Sometimes it's a little bit of a curse throwing this hard. Let's see if we can actually watch one more view of this because snap. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. 106 has been achieved. Yeah, I think 106 I think that might be the fastest pitch ever. 107, 108. I mean, you got to think somebody's going to push towards that. Takes a brave soul though, because that's definitely interested. Oh, what's up, Mike? What's up, Vic? My guy. All right. I have 2 more things on the docket here. I was gonna maybe take a quick look at PCA. Yeah, Cubs Twins. I think I have PCA's Savant page up here. I do, which is absolutely really, really fun to look at. So his batting run value, 94th percentile. Base running run value, 98th percentile. And fielding run value, 100th. He's literally the best fielder in the league. One of the top 3 base runners in the league. Top 15 hitters in the league. Hard to beat that in terms of productivity. This reminds me a lot of looking at Bobby Witt's StatCast page last year, and he's doing all that with the first percentile in chase. So he's swinging at absolutely everything, kind of Javi Baez style, but getting it done. This kid's an absolute freak. He's a spark plug. Let's just watch his homers, because it's also incredible for his size how he's smacking homers. He's got 25 homers before the break. Gives me Brady Anderson vibes without the steroids. What do you guys think? You guys think this guy's one of the top 5 players in the game? I know it's only been half a season, but it's been incredible to watch. All right, first homer is going to be a heater off Paddock. I mean, dead center in Minnesota is a poke. See, Bader starts to do his patented backup, thinking he's got this ball tracked. Only 102. It's surprising that got out. He must have backspun that perfectly. I wish we had spin data on here so we could see how much that was going to carry, or how hot it was out this day, or other environmental factors. But you're going to see right here with Bader. When Bader flips around backwards, he usually thinks he has it measured. But PCA is good enough to backspin this ball out. And then his second homer is left on left off Misevich on the breaking ball. And he drives it out to right center. Every home run in Minnesota looks awesome with the way that their stadium's built. Like, the footprint is so vertical. I think they have the smallest acreage of any stadium at Target Field. Let's look at PCA from the side here. Yeah, it's just a clean swing from a great athlete. Yeah, great extension through the ball, and he gets every little bit out of that frame and the way he moves it. Mitch says arguably front runner for MVP, even over Shohei. The defense is more impressive than the hits. Well, it is. The defense is more impressive. I wish I had better tools to show some of the defense, and I think we might bring on somebody here in the next week to kind of highlight some outfield defense, because there's a lot of nuance there. And his first step is beyond. It's so amazing. It's so quick, and then his arm talent too. He actually gets another double here, so let's watch that. This is a 3 extra base hit day.
I don't believe in that.
No way this is a double. Well, there's where speed comes in even more. I mean, Bader, I don't know what happened. Did they collide out there or something when they realized he was running? What the heck just happened? Oh. Harry, you fell down. What happened? All right, we're going to go to the high home. We're going to monitor Mr. Bader. Here he comes. Oh, poor guy. The turf gave out on him. Whoop. Yeah, but that's PCA being aggressive. Like, if you don't have speed, you're not going to get a double, and it's one of those things. Like, speed power combo is the ultimate for a position player. If you have enough power and strength, you're going to be able to get jammed and get the ball over the infield. When you hit the ball pretty good, but not perfectly, it's still going to reach the fence or go over. And you're fast enough to get infield hits, to stretch singles into doubles, doubles into triples. All that's going to add to your value. Really hard to have that combo, but PCA's got it. And yes, Garrett, it is going to hurt any Mets fan to watch PCA be this good, considering they only got a couple months of Javi Baez and a couple years of T. Willie, Trevor Williams. He was a great Met, but to have PCA out there at center with this current group of Mets would be pretty electric. He would add a lot, and that's probably the position that the Mets are hurting in the most right now, position player-wise. Maybe third, now that Vientos is kind of struggles, but I think center field. Yeah, Jay, he's been a game changer for sure. He's so quick. I love watching this kid play. And then I think I wanted to check in on one more thing and see what you guys had on that. We're going to look at this Orioles first game comeback. I'm not going to try to be critical here, but I want to set the stage and just see what you guys think. Myself, I was a little bit torn here. Obviously, I have a little bit of bias being a relief pitcher. But in this first game, that's the second game, moron. Come on, moron. All right. Baltimore and the Metropolitans. David Peterson, my guy. Congrats to him making the All-Star team. He shoved this whole game. Now, I want you to look in the far right column here, and you can see how many pitches he threw to each batter in this game. 2 pitches, 2 pitches, 1 pitch, 1 pitch, 1 pitch, 6, 4, 3, 5, 4, 5, 5, 3, 11. So it took till the 14th batter to have an at-bat go beyond 5. 5-1, 5-2, 2, and then 9, and then 5-5, 3-3. So the whole game, he's getting quick contact, getting quick outs, except for 2 at-bats. So ultimately, this was a pretty easy breezy 90-pitch outing. He finished the 7th inning with back-to-back strikeouts, and Carlos decides to send him out there for the 8th inning, where he immediately gives up this hit to Cowser. 1-1 count, little sinker in. This is the 90th pitch. Just kind of goes the other way, slaps it the other way, and now he's a man on first, no outs. So this is the point where the manager has to make kind of a tough choice. It's the 8th inning. PD's been rolling the whole game. But Carlos comes and gets him and brings in Ryan Stanek. Me personally, I don't know if I would have taken Peterson out here. I felt like, yes, it was 90 pitches. Yes, it's the 8th inning. Yes, it's a hot day game in Baltimore. But this is his last start before the break. He's going to get plenty of rest here. I love Peterson with guys on base. He's one of the best in the game at managing the running game. And I can show you that real quick. If we go to his page, if you go all the way down to running game leaders, look at that, all bright red. He's one of the absolute best in the game at controlling the running game. Almost impossible to steal on, so that runner is going to be anchored at first. He's also absolutely elite at getting double plays. But they end up taking him out. They bring in my guy Stanek, who's been a really good pitcher for the Mets. He's struggling a little bit here, but the interesting thing was the Orioles, Mancelino is the manager now, counters with Gunnar Henderson, who's arguably their best player. Gunnar Henderson comes in, and now the matchup is Stanek versus Henderson. And it ends up going horribly wrong for the Mets here. Stanek gets to a 2-1 count. On the 2-0 pitch, Gunnar almost takes him right there. Definitely on time, but a little under the ball. And then they make the silly decision to throw him a slider for some reason in the zone. And Gunnar ends up clipping him for a 2-run homer that essentially wins the game. They had another run this inning. And they go from a 1-0. The Mets go from a 1-0 lead to a 3-1 loss. I'm curious in the chat whether people wanted Peterson to stay in that game or whether they wanted to go to the bullpen there. For me, I think I would have left him in a little bit, at least for another run or two. And you have another batter or two, and you have Henderson looming, so you're going to want to get the right matchup there. I know Stanek's pretty good versus lefties. I just thought maybe this was a little bit of a curious decision by Carlos. I'm not trying to be critical at all, because there's always a lot of things going on behind the scenes that I don't know about, but I thought Peterson deserved to get another batter or two there. All right, let's go into the chat. Let's see. From a player archetype perspective, would you rather have PCA or King? I think I'd rather have Tuck. Tuck's a better hitter. That's more sustainable. I think he's also incredible in the outfield, too. I know it's not center, but I think if you're going to pay a guy long-term, I think you want to give the guy with the skill set that's not going to be dragged down by the aging process as much. And I don't think speed, well, it's some of Tucker's game. It's not everything. The hit tool, the throw tool are kind of his main tools. And he's been there and done that one World Series. And I just think Kyle Tucker's an absolute superstar. So that would be my pick. Garrett says he should have stayed in for the shortstop spot in the order if they still pinch hit Gunnar. I believe David gets him out. Then you have the struggling Kobe May on the struggling pitcher spot. I agree. I just thought he needed at least one more batter. And, as a reliever, this is always one of those things, like they get you up in the 7th for a trouble situation. Then they say, no, they're going to send him back and we're going to go batter by batter. I think as a relief pitcher, you'd much rather just come in with the clean inning and kind of get yourself into trouble and out of trouble if need be. I think psychologically the clean inning is really good, especially with no outs. With 2 outs, it's different, or 1 out, it's different. But I think with no outs, you'd either rather come in for the clean inning or you'd rather ride with your starter a little bit longer there. I feel like when you do the batter-to-batter thing and you pull a guy after one, kind of a weak hit, nothing special, I feel like you were a little bit indecisive as a manager in that spot. So I don't know. I haven't been in that spot personally to have to make these tough calls, but I think I would have stuck with him at least 1 or 2 more batters there. Mitch says PCA all day. Every MLB would likely agree. I don't agree. I love PCA's game. I think he's awesome. I just think long-term, if I'm going to pay one of the guys, it's going to be Tucker. That's my personal opinion. Ooh, Billy Joel bobblehead today with the Mets. Is that Citi Field? Are the Mets home today? I don't know. I think that's it for today's show. In terms of the notes, I do think we should get into the pitching probables for today. Let's see here. We'll go to probable pitchers because We are now down to the final series before the break. Everybody's on fumes here. This is kind of the first stretch of the dog days of summer, and then they'll get recharged at the All-Star break, and then it's really, the real dog days are like mid to late August, but everybody's exhausted right now. That break has like a gravitational pull to it. People are dying to get those few days off, so this takes a lot of mental fortitude the last few games here to not slip and not give them away. Much closer players, but I still think PCA to premium, defensive pitch, and power speed combo's closer. Yeah, it's close. It's definitely close. Oh, Yankees game, Billy Joel. Billy Joel. I thought Billy Joel was a Mets thing. They sing Piano Man at the Mets games. Interesting that they're doing a Billy Joel bobblehead at the Yankee game. That seems odd to me. Okay, so Logan Allen, Shane Smith, Gavin Williams, Jonathan Cannon. So that's a doubleheader. Edward Cabrera, he of the 94-mile-an-hour changeup and gross pitching card on MLB The Show. Dean Kramer. Can the Orioles keep it going? They're starting to play a lot better. All right, Cubs, Yankees. That's an exciting series. Cubs, like I said, by run differential, best team in the game. Yankees, I believe, maybe the best team in the American League by run differential. Maybe not. Let's see. They are at plus 106. No, 108. Tigers got them by 2. So it's close, though. So arguably, this could be a matchup of the two best teams in the game. I don't know. Be curious what you guys think. You think the Yankees and the Cubs are two best teams right now in the American League, National League? I think I'm still going to go Detroit, and I think I maybe give the Cubs the nod in the National League. Rock Show, Marquez and Chase Burns. We got to get Marquez out of Colorado. I love Markey. He's been one of the best Rockies pitchers ever, but I think he'd be reborn somewhere else. I think maybe the altitude is just tough on the body. He hasn't been healthy for a while now, but he's tough as nails. He's been a great Rocky. Chase Burns. I think this is start number 4. Then we got Castillo and Skubal. This is a great matchup. Fully expect Skubal to shove because he shoves every game. We might very well be looking at him tomorrow. Rasmussen, Hunter Dobbins. Rasmussen's a stud. Hard to believe he was a reliever at one point. He's been an unbelievable starter. Kodai and Waka. So this is the return of Senga. We'll see how the hamstring looks. They're going to Kansas City. All right, so Mets, KC. Waka, great changeup. Former Met. That's a good matchup. Jack Leiter, Lance McCullers. Contrasting styles here. Leiter, pure octane. McCullers, pure spin. Skeens and Joe Ryan. This is a heck of a matchup. I believe these guys are both all-stars. Parker and Quinn Priester, who was with the Red Sox. And now that they've had some starting pitcher troubles, maybe they'd want him back. But he's been doing his thing lately for the Brewers. He's been a big part of their resurgence. Grant Holmes, Matthew Liberatore. Liberatore's been awesome for the Cards. Ryan Nelson and TA, Tyler Anderson. That's a solid little matchup there. And then Ranger Suarez, I think he's been the hottest pitcher in the game versus the Padres. That's a tough place to play. Phillies Pods, that place is going to be electric. Absolutely electric. So many stars on the diamond. Harper, Tatis, Machado, Schwarber, Turner, Merrill. That's a star-studded series. Then we got Scherz and Sevy. Wow, two of my guys. Scherz at the minor league park. I wonder what he'd have to say about that. He's probably not going to be too thrilled about the conditions. But, yeah, no, I'm going to watch that a little bit for sure. And then D. May, Dustin May, and Logan Webb, one of my favorites. Dodgers-Giants. They renew the rivalry right before the break. That's awesome. So that's what we got for today. A lot of good baseball. Last series before the break. Make sure that you guys lock in because these are big games. These are definitely big games as we head into the break. And I hope everybody enjoys their Friday and their weekend. I'll be back here same time, same place tomorrow. More than likely, I'll announce, obviously, the official time. But thanks for joining me. The chat was really good today. And I appreciate it. And let's get into it again tomorrow. We'll see what's brewing. Cheers out there.